We're in, and the first map is going to be Arabia. Yeah, as you can see, there has been some kind of pause at the very start. Confirming that it's an Arabia, of course it is. And looking at the civilizations, we have Huns. We have Huns for river plantation and custom arc. Then we have Tvikas Mongols, with Salt Arc being Mongols, Elixir Arc and Klrz Ask are going to be Mayans. So a proper mirror. Proper mirror that's going to be yet again decided by some good skill by both of these teams, and let's see who is going to be performing better on this very favorite map for basically all the players. And for those that are not that this map is not favorite for, well, basically that's just going to be Black Forest, and that might even be the game that will, or other map that we're going to be seeing the second one, because this is, I would be guessing, is Killer's home map, and Arcs could be making an attempt at actually going for Black Forest, as that's usually a map that favors teams that are fighting an uphill battle as far as skill goes. So we'll be having a look around the bases here in the meantime before they actually return back into the game and play. Nice placement of the ship here, also with the gold at the back, that's not really any kind of problem, and with the relic. And looking how river plantation is actually the flank. This is going to be quite easy for him to wall, obviously. It's not really all that hard, and this will buy him quite a lot of defense, actually, and quite a lot of room at the back. But it's not going to be all that easy for him to scout, because he might be tempted to go for a bit more forward scouting, possibly even steal some kind of boar or whatever. And he might really miss this opportunity to wall himself, but if he doesn't, that's going to be one easy wall. Obviously very easy walling overall, and he will be pretty much safe from any kind of attempts at Drush or whatever, so that might be it. Okay, so we are moving in, and let's see how he's actually scouting with all his villagers and also the scout cavalry. We've already scouted that the boars are actually on the left with some extra hunt on the hill here, so yeah, there's definitely something where he wants to go, but unfortunately for him, he's going the wrong way at this stage, so he will be waiting a bit longer before he discovers some extra food. He will be right now just having to rely on the sheep here. And, well, he definitely has to hope that he goes with the scout to the left quite soon, but I'm slightly worried that he might not be, because obviously... Oh. GG, go back, or... I'm just going to check into the game if maybe they have really went back or whatever, but I don't really think so. No, everything should be just normal, so that's just some banter between the players, so not really any kind of problem. And well, right now you can see a bit of a team chat, so if anyone knows Spanish in here, you can basically read what's going to be the plan for both of these teams. Right now he's covering the spot, and he will be finding the boards very easily, just about now. Oh, he's actually back into the right. Oh, okay, so he got a bit lucky. It almost seemed like that he's going to miss them, which would be pretty bad for him, as obviously right now he doesn't have all that much food. Just some extra sheep, which would be gone in just a matter of moments. And since we have seen this, we might just as well switch into other players, and that's going to be the other flank for the Killer's team. The Vic on the right side, he's already butchering quite a lot of sheep, and he could definitely use some boars. He does have one on the left, which he knows about, some extra hunt on here, with very nice placement. Oh, extra hunt in here as well. Oh, that's not really bad at all, this kind of map. Quite a lot of gold. Reasonably safe, I have to say, as you can just wall in the forefront, maybe even using the berries. And it won't really be all that hard for him to scout for that. And I don't really see a carcass of a boar here. So, unless it is hidden, it might have been stolen from him. I really don't see the second boar so far. Oh, here he is. Oh, well, that's kind of unlucky. That's kind of unlucky, and he definitely has to hope that this sheep is going to be going just the exact amount. Oh, right now he knows that it's actually there. If he's paying attention, that is. Right now he probably wasn't, as he was just gathering from this board or trying to butcher it. So he might have missed it. And that's going to be a bit of a surprise if he hasn't noticed it before, because he definitely needs the second board as soon as possible. And so far it doesn't seem like he's lucky. He's hoping that it's somewhere at the back, which it definitely isn't. And it might cost him some time, because how much food he actually has? He has quite a decent amount of sheep, so he can survive a bit longer. But I'm kinda worried for him that he will be actually forced to go for the berries sooner than he would want, and this boar will be a bit of a surprise package waiting for him a bit later. The next player to have a look at right now from Killer's team is going to be Ask, who is butchering first pig here, already moving a bit of a hunt here next to his thanks to his base, which was a pretty good job, leaving just the last one. And where is the last piggy? Or rather, the second one on the left. Okay, so he doesn't have any kind of problems with his starting hunt. Yeah, no problems. They are just right now communicating that they have all. And, oh, well, it's the Vic just asking where is his second boar, as he doesn't see it. And it's right here. Oh, man. Oh man, yeah, it's right now forced him basically to go for a lot sooner than he would have hoped, as he didn't find enough extra sheep, and really thought that he was basically out of the boar, and maybe that he was stolen, and right now he's going to find it. Yeah, right now he does, and that's quite late, but still, better late than never. Yep, right now we're going to be switching into the next players, or rather the other team. That's going to be Elixir Arc, who is butchering the first pick. Yeah, the first pick, having the second in very nice line of sight, having extra hunt at the back. And his goal position is very nice, because if he wants to go for lumber camp right next to it, a bit later maybe, because he seems to be first going for the forefront line, which is usually not that clever, because obviously you need to use all the opportunities that you can get actually on a rebuild wall, and he is not really having all that much of them, as obviously if he wants to go for some effective walling, he could have used this gold, but right now with the trick, or rather problem potential with this tree line, he might be in a bit of a problems, as he might be cutting through the walls without even needing or rather wanting to. So right now he's trying to house himself some wall on the left side, which is just as well, even though it's kind of tricky because he obviously doesn't know where the where the side of the map is, and he's also going for a barrack, so he might be kind of rushing at this stage. Elixir Arc, so we'll be waiting for him a bit longer. He's going for it right off the bat. Right now he seems to be moving, and yep, he's clicking militia in, and he's also moving some of the deer here, trying to make sure that he doesn't need to build extra mill, because obviously he has already built one, and it wouldn't be ideal for his starting build order to have to build 2 mills at the very beginning. The first to advance into Feudal Age will be Twig, with River Plantation going just behind him, and yet this is yet another Drash from Sold, so that's going to be double Drash from the Argentinian teams, and we're pretty soon going to see if the last player is going to be Drashin as well. Bit of idles, probably waiting for the resources for the mill. Well, he already has that, and he's even not going for other mills, so that's, well, quite unfortunate for him at this stage, because he's not going to be as effective as he would have hoped, but let's see how he's going to do with his Drashin. I'm just going to turn off the fog of war at this stage, because you'll be seeing quite a lot of movement on the map. Just right now finishing barracks Twig, so that's definitely not any kind of Drash, but looking how Twig is actually Mongol, that's probably going to be stable right off the bat once he advances into Feudal, and a bit of a fight with the Scout Cavalry for himself. This wasn't any kind of Drash from green, it was just a bit of Eagle Scout, Eagle Warrior, together with the sheep here. Barracks being dropped by River Plantation, and River Plantation is Hans, so he might be doing something similar to his ally Yellow, or he might be just switching into archery range as well and going for a bit of archers, switching into cavalry archers when he advances into the castle age. Well, we'll see pretty soon. Let's have a look at the bottom, where we see the first attempts by the Dash of Sold Arc to do something to his opponent's economy, and it might be successful, but depends on the micro, obviously. So far it seems to be reasonably working, because he's basically denying a gathering time for Twig, which is quite substantially important, but not as much as if it was on some player that was actually going for archers. You can already see that the Mongol is going for the standard, that's stable, and a bit of a scout cavalry raiding, which is basically going to be stopping the Drash in its tracks very soon. Just needs like 2 or 3 scouts, and it's pretty much going to be it for this attempt by Red, and the window of opportunity for the Arc team is slowly but surely closing. So let's have a quick look at the top, where we see yet another fight in here, and that's between Blue and Purple, and Purple is doing quite a lot better than his red teammate. He has already killed one villager who is trying to build a stable, and the stable is so far not coming up, and even though it will be coming up right now because of all those extra villies being sent in with the Scout Cavalry as well, it's still costing quite some decent resources, and especially time to River Plantation, which is going to result in quite nice position for Elixir and quite nice defense against this very, very delayed raiding from the Scout Cavalries of the stables of River Plantation. Or is he maybe just jumping into castle right off the bat? Not sure at this stage. We will see pretty soon. So once this battle is pretty much decided, with last militia being alive here, let's have a look at the bottom, and yeah, pretty much the same fate has befallen Soul assault at this stage, who has lost all those militias exactly as we have expected to those scout cavalry from Twig, which is basically right now going to result in pretty much the opposite direction of the aggression here from Klrz right now, switching into aggression on their opponents, and oh yeah, there's going to be quite open room for him to actually go through, as there is definitely no walling going on, or no walling going on. He is right now walling, but it's way too late, and obviously he's right now through. And even though he does have some kind of protection from spearmen here, it's still not going to be enough if he doesn't put up a bit more of them, which right now is, so he will be protecting at least the goal, which is going to be the most important resource for him as a Mongol. And if he's switching into Castle Age pretty soon, I think he will be kinda safe and wouldn't need to worry about any kind of raiding from those scout cavalry guys. Bit of a threat here on the hunt, which he doesn't care about, and he seems to be switching into the pocket, which is a pretty good idea, as he is not... oh, yeah, just now finishing the walls, but having quite a lot of extra space here that those guys on the horses could go through, so not really any safe at all, but still, those walls could mean that at least the orange player will know what's coming and will be able to put up some pikemen before the situation gets serious. But it seems like that it already is serious, and even though he's advancing it through Castle Age, the same as Klrz asked, Klrz ask, just Klrz ask, it's really right now serious, because he's going to be doubled quite heavily. Or is he? Where is actually the yellow? Has he returned somewhere back? Oh yeah, he has. Okay, so it seems like that he was actually going to double the pocket player, which would have been a pretty good idea, I would say. And he returned back to red, and he was able to kill one villager here, so that was a pretty good idea. And before this pikeman could get to those horses, they did do their damage, and they did slow Soul's advance into the next age, and, well, it cost him one of the villagers here. River Plantation right now is having a pretty good army for Raiden, but he's not really going to be having any kind of luck with killing some villages from now on, because obviously there's not much to kill. This tree line is pretty much safe, the gold as well, because of this one spearman. That's basically all it takes for the defense here, and otherwise... oh, well, Orange still doesn't know that he is actually open here, I would say. Let's switch into his point of view, and Fog of War. Where is it? Here. Oh yeah, he definitely doesn't know. He actually thinks this is a wall, which it isn't. There's still quite some room to go, and he's well unaware that there's actually a way through. Oh well, that's pretty unlucky for... oh, what? Okay. Okay, I missed that, but Blue definitely didn't. There's actually a hole through the wall, so that was some nice wall in here, but unfortunately not really finished. And that's going to costing quite a lot of villagers here, and especially quite some decent villager gather time. As before, this guy actually manages to go through and defend those poor villagers. Yeah, one dead scout cavalry, but still. Oh man, this is pretty bad. And even though he's in the castle age right now, so he's going to be having some knights as a hunts. This was still quite unexpected, and he definitely needs to repair this hole in the wall, because if he doesn't, that's not going to be all that nice game for him. A very nice army right now coming in from Salt, who is still intent on feudal aggression. Yeah, right now just training on the wolf here. Castle Age advance from River Plantation and Twig, with Salt going for Fletchin, and he seems to be basically with the purple player, the only one sticking to the feudal age right now, and I'm not exactly sure that's going to be what's going to win them the game. Right now, at least Alexei is switching into the next age. So it seems like that only for the feudal aggression is going to be the Mongolian player, Salt, and oh, he's just a bit too late. He's just a bit too late, because Yellow was doing a pretty good job of anticipating of what's going to happen, as he has seen a few of these armies here. And he did start building the tower just at the right moment. But at the same time, it's not really going to do all that much if he doesn't have any kind of support from... yeah, basically his allies. Right now the plumed archers are coming in from the green player, and they might just be enough, even though I'm not exactly sure, because obviously this is on the hill, and he needs to go somewhere here on the hill as well. Otherwise that's not going to be all that nice for him to fight here. Yeah, but he should be winning quite easily, because obviously plumed archers are much stronger. 5+2, whereas archers are having just 4+1, so yeah. 30 hit points and 50 hit points, that's pretty huge difference, and definitely results in something that we would have been expecting, and that's those archers going somewhere else, and they might actually be having a bit of a luck if they're going to the left. But right now they are very intent on going on the hill and getting some extra damage. But looking at the defense right now, that's going to be happening with Frontvik and his horses. That just might not be enough, as obviously this is a bit of a micro battle, and seems to be doing quite a lot better than his opponent. Yep, just taking those units one by one and doing a pretty good job at that. And there's basically the aggression from the red player basically gone. Right now they are also finishing with the wall in, so yeah, placing is better than this one wall to go for this huge wall here on the left, which is definitely a good idea because it's going to protect their bases as a whole. And looking how he has finished altogether, it seems like that it's going to be kind of hard for his opponent to go through. And let's have a look at the top there. Some kind of army from purple is going on into the red's or rather blue's base, and they really seem to be having a pretty strong claim on that, as obviously this palisade wall is going to be finished, but I'm not really thinking it's going to be in time. Not exactly sure what River Plantation was actually thinking with this, but he doesn't have the army yet. And with the crossbowmen right now being researched, oh, that's going to be a bit tough for him to defend, at least at the start. And might cost him some villagers. Yeah, one dead. Might be potentially killing this girl as well. Oh. Oh, well, he isn't. Well, he isn't, and unfortunately for him, this is going to be pretty much it for his base, and or rather for his attack on this blue space, because I'm thinking that Mangonel won't be really far behind from River Plantation, and with the ability that he has, with his army and pretty decent number of units himself, and building you all the time. Well, not really all the time, obviously, as you can see right now in his buildings, as he is pretty much strained with his economy, but still, with the one Mangonel, if he can keep it alive and land some good shots, that's going to be quite powerful. So let's just have a quick look on the right side, where Raiden is going on pretty strongly from the yellow player, who is finding his way into opponent's base somehow. I'm not exactly sure how he got there, but he did. And, well, red, well, that's quite a decent army, but he needs to advance it through Castle Age. Let's have a look how it's gonna look with the Mangonel in the blue's base. We can get some good shot in. Ah, that's... Oh, just exactly in between. Come on. That was a good spot for a shot. But he tries to be running from the knight here. And, oh... Well, pretty nicely played from Customer, who has been able to kill the one Mangonel with just 2 knights here. I don't think that he had actually more units than that here. And that was a pretty good job at that. And because that was the most dangerous unit right there, and it still allows Elixir to stay in the base, and oh well, not any longer. As you can see, we can see that Klrz Ask is returning to his home base and getting rid of all this army together with River Plantation. That's pretty much going to be it, and they won't even need the Mangonel here. Now let's switch to the right side, where it's going to be quite important right now for Salt Ark, who is right now going for Fortune as well, to switch into other type of units, because he's right now facing quite a huge army of knights, and there are still more incoming. And where is actually the wall, rather hole through the wall? I'm still not seeing it. Is it somewhere here? Yet again. That's actually the same situation like here, just one square of the wall missing, and this is, I have to just say at this stage that it's not really kind of mistake from Custom Salt. Well, it is a mistake, but kinda, yeah, you can see how he actually made it, because it's very hard to see, and you literally don't see it from this point of view, and he doesn't have any kind of idea how he's getting through. And he has to be seriously confused, because he definitely thinks, I think, at this stage, that he is basically protected, and he can't really know how he's getting through. He will just have to revisit the walls pretty soon, otherwise these guys are just going to be trickling in all the time. Right now trying to find something else to raid. Bit of a tree line, but nicely protected by this TC. So that's pretty much not going to be anything that he would be able to raid. This TC is going to be also pretty important for protecting the gold, which is something that the Salt Ark player needs as a Mongolian player. And still, those guys very easily getting through here. And right now he's just going to make it obvious with killing at least this one palisade wall. Yeah, right now he's going to be on obvious wall, and that's a bit of a raiding. Ask has helped his teammate River Plantation with getting rid of the purple army, and right now, since he doesn't have anything else to kill, he's moving into the offensive and basically having a 1v1 with the pocket on the other side from the other team. So that's a nice trade in here on the food and also on the gold pretty soon. So far I don't really see any kind of army from the orange, and he might be just slinging. Because I don't really see any kind of... Oh, alright, now I see on the minimap. Let's have a quick look, and he's sending the knights on the left, and he's actually having quite a lot of them. But that's not half bad, and you can see with the amount of crossbowmen rebuilt from Elixir Arc. Right now this is a pretty strong double, and... well, they just call them. But with the amount of plumed archers from Ask, who is having both on the left and also on the right now, pretty nicely raiding. Well, that's a lot of skeletons. That's quite a lot of skeletons and quite some decent damage to the economy. And he can even kill those knights here, because obviously they couldn't just get to where they wanted. And right now they are dead without doing anything at all. So I just switched into other battlefield on the left side, where purple together with orange are kind of both forced back. Where is actually the orange? Is he moving just back with everything? Just not seeing his army right now. And I don't really see anything resembling some kind of cemetery of horses. So he just probably ran somewhere, and maybe just to defend, and yeah, right now he did. Okay, so this is exactly where the army went, and this is a pretty good job by Ask, who is basically limiting the amount of knights they can fight at the one spot. But still, I'm thinking that the sheer number of those knights is going to be enough, as obviously those archers are still in a pretty open spot, and they are not all that numerous, so that they could be killing all those armies here. Yeah, right now it's a pretty good idea from Orange to actually run away from all those. And right now he's realizing that he's actually getting into a pretty tough situation. As he was killing one by one, this is pretty much not a position that he wanted to play. So yep, this was a pretty nice play from Ask, and very hard to do, or rather very hard to deal with for his opponents from Arc. Purple right now switching, or rather switching. Yeah, he will be basically switching into his plumed archers as well, because right now he's building a castle, which is also a protection for the gold and the tree line. But he is right now facing a pretty hard double from both the plumed archers and also the knights from River Plantation. Knights from Orange also coming in with quite a decent amount of crossbowmen, but he needs to get up on some kind of hill, because right now he's fighting uphill, which is not ideal, and is giving all the extra damage from those plumed archers to get rid of all those pesky knights from custom Arc. Well, so it seems like going reasonably well for green, who is right now trying to castle drop, especially right now. So if he can, that's going to be quite important. But let's have a quick look on the right side, where yellow is doing still a pretty good job of raiding red. Right now he's actually killed the house, so that it's absolutely obvious where he's getting through. And also quite some buildings on the left with Siege Workshop pulling out some first siege weapons, like the battering rams, trying to pull through the walls so that he can have an easy way right into the heart of his opponent's base. So I don't really see any kind of army here, just a bit of hidden in the Mongolian stable here, so that's not going to be anything substantial. Looking how he's having just double stables, really cannot fight against all this huge amount of knights from his opponent, the Vic. And well, let's have a look at the top on the left. How's it looking with the castle? Some mangonels, that's a pretty good idea also, with the knights and the plumed archers. I'm kind of thinking this is going to be very hard for the Arc team to do anything about, especially even though he is advancing into Imperial Age, so that's not half bad, and he might be able to do something. But I'm slightly worried that this castle is going to be the final nail in the coffin, because obviously this allows their opponents, Klrz, to have some kind of spot to run back to. And also, potentially, if he advances into Imperial Age, which he right now is, go for some trebuchets right on the doorstep of his opponent. Oh well, that's daring. Yet another castle drop right there. Yet another castle drop right there, and we are going to be going for a GG pretty soon, I think, because if he cannot finish this castle, this is going to be quite crucial for Elixir Arc. So, can he finish? Can he finish? Oh well, that's going to be quite tricky, because obviously this amount of archers with all those knights, they are going to get rid of all this army pretty soon, right now, and they will be killing as many villages as they can just about now. So the castle will be finished. I'm not really worried about that, but I'm worried about the death of all those villies, because he has right now dropped to 85, whereas his opponent, Mayan, is having, well, 82 as well, so it's really all that bad. But unfortunately for him, he's in a pretty horrible situation. We've been heavily attacked, and the double castle drop inside his own base basically means, together with Radiant, that he has basically no echo, and he's having a huge amount of idols right now, 30 idols. That's almost half of all he has, and not even the help from his ally custom mark is going to be enough. At the bottom, the Vic has broken through just as was expected, as we were looking a bit earlier, and even though Red has been able to amass quite a decent amount of camels, can he defend against this with the extra support in fire from all those DC? Oh, this could potentially shoot them as well. Maybe at least at some of those, but oh well, this is a big battle. EC down, so that's a bit unfortunate for Red obviously, but he loses quite a lot of extra fire, and those villagers might be actually quite capable at taking down those veteran rams and defending against all those knights. So let's have a look. It seems more or less, well, I was going to say more or less equal, but then reinforcements actually came in for Twig, and that's pretty much it for this stage. And yeah, you can see that GG is being called for Soul Arc, and Az is right now being called for others. Yeah, this is pretty much it, and Killers take the first map from their opponent's Arc B. So that was quite controlled performance, but I have to say that Arc B played really well, especially the aggression on the left was very nice, I have to say. I really like that from Arc B, and they did put River Plantation under some kind of pressure, but unfortunately they couldn't hold through, or rather follow through, with enough units. And, well, it wasn't enough, and Killers then went back with vengeance, and those two castle drops on their opponent, well, these were pretty strong. Let's have a look at the achievements. Where Ask is going to be the MVP, as yep, he was doing pretty well, and he was of course the pocket without any kind of raiding on him, so that's usually what happens in these games. Nice echo from Elixir Arc though, he wasn't playing half bad. Okay, GG.